afternoon, ladies and germs, and welcome here as we get set for our first elimination race of the season. That's right, we are here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway for chase race number 3, and we are going to go from the round of 16 into the round of 12 next week at Army Digital Super Speedway, and it all comes down to being determined by the finishing of today's race at this historical racetrack, not only in NASCAR, but probably in the entire motorsports community. Who's going to kiss the yard of bricks here today? We'll find out at the end of 48 laps. As we've got non-chasers starting up here on the front row. Z Flickinger looking for his first win of the season still. Same for J Srigley and J Ciculli rolling off there in the third position. Highest starting chaser will be Cole Baker, who comes into this race in the 8th position in points. But the thing we focus on the most when we get to these elimination rounds is the danger zone. Only one driver so far comes into this race completely assured he will move into the next round, and that's last week's winner from Taylor Swift Superdome, rookie M Haas. He will be in the next round of the chase. But you look at the danger zone. Look at some of the names we've got down there. Mired 12th, or make that 13th rather, through 16th. T Walch, J Shelton, J Fitzwater, and Blaine Keys. They need good runs here today to get themselves back up into the top 12 in the standings. And then you've got drivers that are, just barely above that cut line, like L McIntire, K Mathews, J Baskinger. They have to hope they have good runs today to keep themselves ahead of that cut line and not be eliminated in the first round of the chase for the Hersheys Cup Series Championship. Without further ado, we'll give you more stats and everything in just a moment. Let's get to command.
Drivers, start your engines!
So there's the command to fire him up. So M Haas, he's locked into the chase. He jumped up to the points lead as well with that win last week. Trent Dunham, he is second in the points. He's only 1 point back behind M Haas, but we got to look at how far ahead of the cut line he is. Right now, 43 points above the cut line is Trent Dunham. So Trent comes into this race in a pretty good spot. J Richardson is third in points. He comes into this race, and you got to forgive me for being a little slow. I'm calculating in my head. He is a total of 32 points ahead of the cut line. Michael Norman is 31 points ahead of the cut line. He's fourth in the standings. 24 points ahead of the cut line is D Poteet. He is fifth in points. Cody Llamas is sixth in the standings. He's 23 points ahead of the cut line. Emmanuel Hartnett is 7th in the point standings. He is 20 points ahead. Actually, I'm sorry. No, he is 23 points ahead of the cut line. Cole Baker is 22 points ahead of the cut line. He is 8th in the standings. K Tellier, 9th in points, is 21 points ahead of the cut line. L McIntire is 10th in the standings, 14 points ahead of the cut line. K Mathews, 11th in points, is 13 points ahead of the cut line, and J Baskinger, who's in that 12th position, he's a mere 3 points ahead of the cut line. He'll be rolling off from the 8th position in this one. T Walch, who's trying to get past him in the point standings, comes in that 13th position in points. He's going to be rolling off, it looks like, from around the 13th position. So we'll keep our eyes on Walsh, Shelton, Fitzwater, Keys, as well as a couple of close call drivers near that cut line like McIntosh, Mathews, and Baskinger. Keep in mind, McIntosh and Mathews just moved themselves into the top 12 last week at Taylor Swift Superdome. They don't want to have to fall back out 1 week later. But here we go. It'll be 48 laps of racing. Buckle up tight. It's going to be a long one here today at the Brickyard. Chase race number 3 of the Hersheys Cup Series here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway is green. And you can bet early on there's going to be a lot of scrambling for position, because we saw in the Almond Joy Series race here yesterday that drivers are going to start to get spread out. So now if you're going to make up positions on the racetrack, now's the time to do it. Is it the 2-car breakaway at the front? Z Flickinger and J Ciculli checking out on the rest of the field, and Ciculli now going to duck down to the inside into turn 3, tries going for the lead. Benjamin Miles, who just barely missed out on making the chase. Contact between the two leaders. Oh, that was close. Ciculli got the worst end of that, had to check up, but he nearly just wrecked Z Flickinger. And Benjamin Miles, since the two of them lost momentum, he's going to shoot to the race lead and lead the first lap. Oh, that was scary, scary, scary. Oh, goodness, I shudder to think of how many cars might have been involved. And a wreck happened right there, and it started with the two race leaders. Dodged a bullet there for sure. As Miles out in front, Hudson into second, and there's Blaine Keys running in third. Blaine Keys comes into this race 16th out of the 16 chase drivers. He is a total of 12 points back from the cut line. No, I'm sorry, actually, no, it's a total of 15 points back from the cut line, I should say. But keep in mind, if he wins here today, he's automatically into the next round of the chase, so that 8 car might be just trying to look for victory lane. Tim Walsh comes in 13th in the standings. He's outside the top 12, and right now he's up in the top 5 as well right there, that 5-hour Energy Chevrolet out of Michael Norman Motorsports. Nathan Hudson becomes the second driver to lead a lap here today, so already we've tied yesterday's Almond Joy Series race with different race leaders. In our Almond Joy Series race here yesterday, we only had 2 drivers lead that race. Jeremy Jones led the first half of the race, Nick Johnson led the second half of the race, and went on to win the thing. So looks like we may have more battling for the lead in this one anyway. We got a bit of a breakaway up at the front, about maybe 7-8 cars up here in this lead pack. Back to Levi McIntyre. As Hudson now begin to check out a little bit with the race lead. Let's jump back, find out where a couple of our other drivers outside of the top 12 in the points are running. Jessica Shelton and Zachary Fitzwater. There's Fitzwater. Running behind L Alvarise, just ahead of Trent Dunham, and a couple of rows back there you can see the pink and purple Chevrolet of Jessica Shelton. So Fitzwater and Shelton on that inside line trying to fight their way up towards the front. Fitzwater last time by was scored in 21st, so Shelton would be currently running somewhere around the 24th position at this current point in time. All trying to fight for position. A couple of drivers that need to stay ahead of the cut line. Dallas McIntosh is right now behind both Fitzwater, Shelton, as well as Blaine Keys. So McIntosh got to step it up, get himself up closer to the front of the field. And also I noticed Kyle Mathews is back here. Mathews, who just worked his way into the top 12 in the point stands after last week at Taylor Swift Superdome. There he is, and Kyle Mathews mired back here in traffic, just trying to find his way up there to the front. Mathews came into this race a total of 13 points ahead of that cut line. But he can't really rely on that. He's got to get himself up there to the front as quickly as possible. Furthest driver back here, the chase driver, is actually Michael Norman. Now Norman comes into this race 4th in the point standings and a total of 31 points ahead of the cut line. So he's in good shape, maybe just riding at the moment, but at some point Michael Norman's got to get himself a little bit more real estate in this field to be able to have himself safely move into the next round of the chase for the championship. As up front, battle is on for the lead again. This time, Blaine Keys with a little help from last week's winner, M Haas, trying to get a draft down the front straightaway to get to the inside of Nathan Hudson. Hudson, though, able to throw the block at least for the moment. Emmanuel Hartnett headed into last week's race at Taylor Swift Superdome outside of the top 12 in the points. Last week, his good finish moved him up to 7th place. I think he finished 2nd in that race, if memory serves me correctly. And he now comes into today's race a total of 23 points ahead of that cut line and having another solid outing here today. Right now battling for the 3rd position with Matt Haas. Matt Haas can go for the aggressive moves in this race, because it doesn't matter if he wrecks out of the race and finishes dead last. He's into the next round of the chase with his win last week at Taylor Swift Superdome. So Matt Haas can just go out there and race. Doesn't have to worry about points, doesn't have to worry about position. Blaine Keys now to the inside on Nathan Hudson. And keep in mind, Blaine Keys, if he can win here, if Blaine Keys wins the race, then according to our live point standings, J Baskinger would then fall outside of the cut line, because Blaine Keys would automatically move in with his victory in the next round of the chase. So if Blaine Keys wins this race, it could come down to who's running in 12th through 15th in the point standings that will not make it into the next round of the chase for the championship. It really all just comes down to that. Keep in mind, too, that with Matt Haas having a victory here in the chase, he's going to have 3 points up on everybody else heading to next week at Armory Digital Superspeedway when the points get reset. So if some other chase driver, like a Blaine Keys, like an Emmanuel Hartnett, like a Tim Walsh, can go to victory lane here, they would then be tied with Matt Haas for the number 1 seed at Armory Digital to start our second round of the chase for the championship. Blaine Keys, though, out in front. This is a valuable bonus point that he's picked up with leading a lap. I mean, it's close amongst those drivers that are below the cut line. I mean, Shelton, Fitzwater, and Blaine Keys came into this race only separated by 4 points, and they were 14th through 16th in the standings. So every point, every position really counts towards whether or not you're going to be up inside the top 12 in the point standings when this race is over. Notice one driver that started up close to the front of the field and is just riding right now as well. That's Cole Baker in the 18. Baker, 1 win this season at Talladega, has been maybe one of the most consistent drivers this season next to K Tellier. Those two had a pretty good battle for the points lead in the final few regular season races. Cole Baker coming into this race 8th in the points standings. He dropped 3 spots in the points last week at Taylor Swift Superdome, so having a very strong run right now in the 8th position. Just appears to be riding around at the current moment in time. Another driver that's also kind of seeming to be riding is Trent Dunham. Dunham came into this race 1 single point behind Matt Haas in the point standings. I mean, Matt Haas has a victory this chase, and Trent Dunham does not, so that shows you how consistent Trent has been since the chase has begun. Right now, Trent Dunham currently running somewhere around the 13th, 14th position. This is a good run for Trent, and it looks like right now, if all this continues to go his way, he's definitely going to be in the next round of the chase for the championship with no worries. J Baskinger came into this race 12th in the point standings, just above that cut line by 3 points. Right now, he is running better than Jessica Shelton and Zachary Fitzwater, as well as McIntosh and Mathews. So right now, good things looking like are coming the direction of the 59 car as Baskinger here in his 3rd chase for the championship. Hoping 3rd time is the charm, trying to win this championship here. And it looks like we may be under our first caution. No, we're not under caution. For some reason, it looked like they were going really slow there through that portion of the racetrack. But no, we are not under caution. We're still under green. And Nathan Hudson has gotten back around Blaine Keys and has gone back to the race lead. Nathan Hudson, a former winner in the Hersheys Cup Series last season with Michael Norman Motorsports, but that win ended up coming at a road course in Lime Rock, which, if memory serves me correctly, we're going to very soon. Yeah, after Armory Digital next week, we're going to Lime Rock. Got Armory Digital next week, then Lime Rock, then St. Joltis, then Michigan, Homestead, Miami, Talladega, our final elimination race, our other elimination race, of course, St. Joltis, and then we have our final 4 that will battle for the championship at the season finale at Auto Club. Top 5 have broken away for a moment. Now it's almost the top 6 as Cole Baker's kind of reeling them back in, and Blaine Keys has seemed to really fade from view. He dropped from the lead all the way back now to about the 8th position. And here comes rookie Matt Haas. Now Matt Haas, last week with his win at Taylor Swift Superdome, picked up his 3rd win of the year. That tied him with Charles Sandfer for most wins in a single Hersheys Cup Series season. Sandfer had 3 wins last year. If Matt Haas wins today, he makes history as the first and only, at the time, 4-time winner in a single season in the Hersheys Cup Series. Pole sitter Z Flickinger back up here at the front now, and he's all over the back bumper of fellow Toyota Camry Matt Haas for the race lead. Flickinger, I'm trying to remember, I think the last time Flickinger went to victory lane, and I'll have to look back to see if this is indeed the case, but I think the last time that Flickinger went to victory lane was season 1 at Lime Rock Raceway. I don't think Flickinger went to victory lane in season 2. However, I could be incorrect, and just to make sure that I am saying this correctly, I am going to actually look back and see if that was indeed the case. And I am incorrect. He did have a win last season, and that was at another road course. That was Dubai. So error on my part. So Flickinger, let me just confirm and see if he did indeed actually win the race at Lime Rock like I remember, and yes he did. So, oh, and we're under caution. So anyway, to finish my thought, Flickinger trying to go for his third win in 3 seasons, but we are under the yellow flag here on lap 13. First caution of the day. And Jonathan Zorlin's at the rear of the field here, but I don't see anybody with damage. May have just had a car go around spinning. I'm not necessarily sure what this caution came out for. Charles Sandfer back here, no damage. No damage on Michael Norman. Doesn't appear to be any damage on Jonathan Zorlin, the rookie. But we do have a driver out of the race, and that is Hergel Alonso in the 37. Oh, and there's some skid marks right there. Some skid marks right there. Looks like that was in the turn 3, 4 vicinity, and there's the skid marks coming back up. So it looks like maybe Hergel Alonso got turned and got wrecked. So, looks like we'll be having our pit stops under yellow, and everybody is going to be coming to pit road this time. Pretty certain this is going to not be the only pit stop these drivers are going to have to make today, but they get the luxury of being able to do it under the caution rather than having to do it under green flag conditions. So we'll see if Matt Haas' team can get him off pit road as the race leader. Pit road played a big factor into our winner yesterday in the Almond Joy Series race. Haas into his pit stall. I'm expecting 4 tire stops here for everybody. I'll be shocked if anybody goes with 2 tire stops, because at Indianapolis, at the speeds they're going, the tire rubber definitely is going to be wearing. And Benjamin Miles off pit road. Richardson just now coming into his pit stall, so Richardson was way back there. And look at how slow a stop Matt Haas had. He's going to lose a lot of spots on pit road. Blaine Keys will come out as the race leader. Miles in second, Baskinger third. Then it's Hudson in fourth, Alvarise in fifth, Batson sixth, Walsh seventh, eighth Trent Dunham, ninth Emmanuel Hartnett, 10th Garrett Sidner. Matt Haas coming out looks like in the 13th position, so a very slow stop for the guy who came into pit road as the race leader. Looks like Blaine Keys will be the race leader when we go back to green. Let's take a look and see what happened to Hergel Alonso to put us under our first caution of the day here at Indianapolis. Here's a look at what happened, battling here with Dylan Young, Jordan Lopez, Kyle Mathews, and they do kind of stick it 3 wide here into the corner, and Lopez going to get into the left rear of Hergel Alonso. Turns him around. Alonso going to get a hard hit there into the wall. And then watch this. Watch this. Oh my goodness. Right back up in front of Zachary Stultz. How Stultz didn't wreck, I don't know. There might have been a little bit of contact there, but my goodness, that nearly wiped out Stultz, Sandfer, Norman, and Zorlin. It's amazing we got away with one there and didn't have a multiple car crash, but a lot of significant front end damage to the Sam's Club Chevrolet, as well as a lot of rear end damage when he slid back up into the outside wall, and that put Hergel Alonso out of the race here in this one. Tough break for Hergel. Hergel making only his 3rd start of the season, and comes to an early end here today at Indianapolis. Getting ready to go back green. Only one driver out of the race, that being the aforementioned Hergel Alonso. So out of our 42 drivers that started this race, 41 will be taking the green flag for this restart, and all 41 are still on the lead lap. Zachary Stultz still running. They spent a little bit extra time on pit road. He did have a little bit of cosmetic damage to the hood nose area of his machine, but he is back on the racetrack, and we're getting ready to go back green. Blaine Keys, his team got it done on pit road. He got out as the race leader over Benjamin Miles, Jake Baskinger, Nathan Hudson, and Leon Alvarez. Then it's Keith Batson, Tim Walsh, Trent Dunham, Emmanuel Hartnett, and Garrett Sidner. That is your top 10. As the green flag is back out here at Indianapolis on this restart. The rest of your chasers, let's see where they're restarting. Cole Baker in 12th, Matt Haas lost the lead coming to pit road. He restarts in 13th place. Jessica Shelton up to 16th for this restart. Dallas McIntosh in 20th. Zachary Fitzwater 21st. Dylan Poteet 23rd. K Tellier 28th. Cody Llamas in 34th. James Richardson all the way back in 37th. Michael Norman 39th. Kyle Mathews in 40th. And that is where your chasers restarted this race. Battle on for the lead. Benjamin Miles to the inside of Blaine Keys. Can't make the move this time. Thought about it, but had to get out of the throttle a little bit sooner. And could not keep it stuck to the left rear quarter panel of the U.S. Army Chevrolet. Looking back at Benjamin Miles' stats. Benjamin Miles back in Season 1 had a win at Kentucky. In Season 2, he had 2 victories. One at Coca-Cola. Actually, no, he had 3 victories. One at Bristol Dirt, one at Coca-Cola, and one at Indianapolis. So he comes into this race as the defending winner of this event. The other previous winner back in Season 1 of the Hersheys Cup Series, believe it or not, is actually also up inside the top 10. That's Emmanuel Hartnett. Hartnett won in Season 1 here at Indy, and Benjamin Miles won here in Season 2. Could we see one of those two drivers pick up their second win of their career at this historic racetrack? Right now, Miles is the race leader, and Hartnett currently is scored in 7th. Benjamin Miles, as we mentioned, just barely missing out on making the chase for the championship here this season. Now just concentrating on trying to go for victories. Miles' win this year coming at Springfield Mile. So in his career, he's got 2 wins at dirt tracks. Right now looking very strong, though, as one car just got the wall back there. That might have been Blaine Keys just scrubbing it just a bit there. Looks like Blaine Keys' car maybe not handling quite the way he likes it. They might have made some kind of adjustment on that car on that pit stop that either he's not used to yet or he's just not liking. As Jake Baskinger, look at that. There's a classic case of the slipstream and the slingshot into one. Jake Baskinger, it's almost as if he was about 10 miles per hour faster than Benjamin Miles going into that turn 1 area, and he will shoot to the race lead. Now Jake Baskinger, 12th in the point standings in the chase standings. He'd love to have a victory to move him into the next round of the chase for the championship. Another driver like Benjamin Miles that missed out on making the chase for the championship, just going for wins right there, the Young Motorsports number 22 of J Bryant. Right now riding in the 7th position. Young Motorsports has some pretty interesting memories when it comes to Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Who'll ever forget back in the now retired Oreo Truck Series when Dylan Young Tony Hawked it on the pit road wall. Let's give a shout out to a rookie that's having a good run, a go or go home rookie. And that is Kev Shearer. There he is. Right now, Shearer running in the 13th position. A great run there for the Srigley Motorsports entry. Garrett Sidner back there in about the 16th position as well. So a couple of our go or go home non-charter drivers having solid outings here today at Indianapolis. Nice to see that. There's Jessica Shelton. She's right now scored in the 14th position. And right now, Shelton, who came into this race only 11 points back of that cut line. This is what she needs. She needs good run like this. The thing that's not good for her at this current point in time is that Jake Baskinger is out in front leading this race. And Shelton's going to pick up a lot of spots here. As Tim Walsh, Cole Baker, they were almost 3 wide, and they're going to have to back out of the throttle. Shelton now is shot up almost into the top 10. I think she's now up to around the 12th position, maybe 13th, somewhere around there. Following in the tire tracks of rookie Kev Shearer. Well, Jake Baskinger has lost the race lead now. He's dropping back to about the battle for 4th place. As Blaine Keys now back out in front. Trent Dunham, his teammate, there in 2nd. I mean, who'll ever forget back to, was it South Boston? No. Yeah, I think it was South Boston. Yeah, it was South Boston, where Trent Dunham was leading the race, and he got by his teammate Blaine Keys, who at the time was off the lead lap, and Blaine Keys played defense for him. So that way Trent Dunham got a win and got into the chase. Do you think Trent Dunham would return the favor here today? I mean, remember, Trent right now, he's 2nd in the points. He's going to advance into the next round of the chase. Would he be willing to allow his teammate Blaine Keys to win this race, and that would allow him to also move into the next round of the chase for the championship, since he right now coming into this race is below that top 12 cut line? Would Trent Dunham be willing to play defense and help his teammate get this victory, kind of repaying the favor that Blaine Keys did for him a couple of weeks ago at South Boston? So right there, Trent Dunham kind of step out of line down the front straightaway. That allows him to kind of break the draft, and it would allow him and Miles and Bryant and company to not suck right up to the back bumper, and we're under caution. Oh, we've had a big wreck take place in the middle of 1 and 2. Well, so much for all that strategy about playing defense and everything. The caution's out, and oh, someone is blown up ahead there. Oh, that's Anthony McCrury. Another car up there as well. Oh boy, that's a chaser in Cody Llamas. Cody came into this race 6th in the point standings. He was a total of 26 points ahead of the cut line. But this is not good for the Lowe's Furniture Row Chevrolet out of NW Racing. More drivers on pit road as well. Jonathan Zorlin, James Qualls, Sean Gallighan. Another chaser's got damaged. That's Twinix Racing's entry, Dylan Poteet. Came into this race 5th in the point standings. Total of 27 points ahead of the cut line. Don't really know if anybody else was involved or not, but... Oh, wait a minute. Is there damage on the rear end of Tim Walsh's machine? That could be a 3rd chaser that's got damage from this. Cole Baker's got damage just ahead there. And Tim Walsh does indeed have damage as well, so at least 4 chasers that I can see have gotten some kind of damage out of this. The most extensive one, obviously, Cody Llamas. We got some drivers staying out. J.T. Bryant, Jake Baskinger, and Garrett Sidner are staying out. So Blaine Keys coming to pit lane, along with the rest of the field, with the exception of those 3 drivers. So, looks like when we go back to green, J.T. Bryant will be out in front. I don't know about this strategy for these 3 drivers. I mean, for Bryant, what's he got to lose? He's going for wins now. Baskinger, however, he comes in that critical 12th position in the points. I don't want to say that his chase hopes rest in this strategy, but they could very well. And Garrett Sidner just trying to pick up a win here this season. Trying to pick up the first win of the season for CJ Racing. But nonetheless, we're under caution. Let's look back and see what happened. At least 4 chasers that I was able to see got involved in this one in one way or another. Well, you remember back on lap number 1 when we had that incident almost take place with the race leaders? Well, this is almost deja vu. This is Cole Baker battling with Tim Walsh for position. Slides up into the 15, and Walsh is trying to save it, trying to save it, trying to save it. Both cars get slideways going here into 1. And then right here, the shot from Joshua Ciculli is what finishes it off. They might have been able to hang on to it. But then Tim Walsh up and into the wall. Cole Baker into the wall. And that's just going to blockade the entire outside line. Matt Haas nowhere to go. He's going to try and move up, but then there's Poteet there. McCrury never slows down. He's going to get into Poteet. Chloe Erickson narrowly avoided that. And look at everybody trying to migrate down to the bottom, but that's where everybody's sliding down to. Cody Llamas nails McCrury. Qualls gets into McCrury as well. Gallighan got Poteet. Jonathan Zorlin right there. He's going to nail Gallighan. That's a hard lick. Now look at Michael Norman and Kyle Mathews, a couple of chasers there at the rear of the field. Just going to snake their way through, trying to get by without any incident. Kyle Mathews, a little bit of damage there on the right side of his machine. Not sure if he did get involved in something there, if that's from earlier contact. J Richardson also did a nice job getting through that wreck, but right there, that's a big one. K Llamas came into this race in the 6th position in points. D Poteet came in 5th in the points. Where is this going to put them when the checkered flag waves today? Will they be out of the chase for the championship? Only time will tell. We'll go back to live action, see if any of these drivers are able to continue. We'll also document Cole Baker, Matt Haas, T Walch, where they are as far as probably having to spend some time on pit road repairing damage from our second incident of the day, second caution at Indianapolis. Getting ready to go back to green, and as you can see, we have now 4 more drivers out of the race joining Hergel Alonso in the garage area. Anthony McCrury, Sean Gallighan, Jonathan Zorlin, and K Llamas has retired from the race in the 40th position. So right now, K Llamas, his chase hopes are resting on the fact that drivers that were behind him in the point standings have equally bad days. At the moment, T Walch is at the rear of the field. He's damaged, but J Baskinger, J Shelton, they're all running fairly well. Zachary Fitzwater right now is running up in the... Wait, where's Fitzwater? Fitzwater's 11th, Shelton's in 9th, Baskinger's in 2nd, so this is not good for K Llamas right now. Came into this race a total of 26 points ahead of that cut line. Only time will tell if he's just barely going to be able to make it in. Still quite a ways to go in this race as J Bryant, J Baskinger, and Garrett Sidner did not come to pit road. They restarted as the top 3. Then it was Blaine Keys, Benjamin Miles, L Alvarise, Trent Dunham, Kev Shearer, J Shelton, and Emmanuel Hartnett. That was the top 10 going back to green flag racing conditions. Let's find out where the rest of your chasers are. Zachary Fitzwater restarted 11th. That's where he's currently running. Dallas McIntosh is 24th, Richardson 27th, Matt Haas 28th, K Tellier 29th. A lot of chasers down here outside of the top 20. Michael Norman 32nd, Cole Baker 34th, Kyle Mathews in the 35th position. D Poteet still running in 36th, but he'll be off the pace, as will T Walch in 37th. Blaine Keys pushes J Baskinger to the race lead, past J Bryant, and now Blaine Keys to the race lead. And this is what Blaine needed to do, because at some point you gotta think that J Bryant, J Baskinger, Garrett Sidner, they're gonna have to come to pit road here under green flag conditions unless we get another quick caution. Mentioned that Garrett Sidner staying out there trying to get CJ Racing their first win of the season. Well, L Alvarise is now up here in the mix. Alvarise also trying to get his first win of the season here for CJ Racing. Right now, right behind Benjamin Miles, as they are really wadded up from that position on back. And we got a battle on for the lead. Well, we did. Garrett Sidner tried stepping out of line, but not able to quite do it. Sidner didn't have anybody to help him create a slipstream here down the front straightaway. And look at J Shelton. All of a sudden, after that restart, I mean, she restarted, I think it was back in the 8th position. She's already up to 6th and looking for more, running behind Trent Dunham. This is exactly what J Shelton needed to have here today, this kind of a run to get herself back into the championship picture. And as we mentioned, with K Llamas having difficulties right now, Shelton could very easily move K Llamas out of the top 12, move herself into the top 12, and advance into the next round of the chase for the championship. The gap between K Llamas and J Shelton, if I can quickly do some math here in my head, was a total of 34 points. K Llamas finishes out of this race in 40th. If Shelton can finish in the top 5, she'd be into the chase. At least as far as where K Llamas is considered. Now getting stuck on the high side, though, losing some spots to Kev Shearer, Keith Batson, Nathan Hudson. Top 2, though, have broken away. Blaine Keys and Garrett Sidner. But Sidner at some point is going to have to pit, as will Baskinger, as will Bryant. The question is, are Blaine Keys and others that pitted under this second caution, are they good to go on fuel, or have we not seen them make their last pit stop of the day? So far, we've had 2 cycles of pit stops, but they've both been under the caution, so we really don't know what the fuel window is of how far these drivers can go. Here at Sydney, though, getting some good fuel mileage, running right behind Blaine Keys in the draft. Speaking of draft is working for L Alvarise at the moment, trying to get by Benjamin Miles for that 3rd position, and he will succeed in doing so. Nathan Hudson follows in the tire tracks. Keith Batson, Kev Shear, Jessica Shelton, Trent Dunham, Brandon Gonzales, all there ready to take advantage of the 42 being shuffled to the high side. So now L Alvarise leading the charge of 3rd place on back, trying to reel in the top 2. He's got 2 Chevrolets and a Ford behind him in that group, trying to catch up to a couple of Chevrolets out in front. Ooh, Alvarise slipping up there a little bit, and that's going to cost him. Nathan Hudson going to get to his inside. Contact! Keith Batson turns Alvarise. Oh no, this is going to be right back up in front of traffic. Who's he going to get? Oh, he gets Trent Dunham! Alvarise flipping upside down, end over end, everybody trying to avoid. And did we really just get away with a 2-car incident? Caution's out, but Trent Dunham just got flat out clobbered by L Alvarise. Or actually more the other way around, and we are under the yellow flag for the 3rd time here today at Indianapolis. Oh boy, we saw that happen in live time. Alvarise got spun by Keith Batson back up into traffic, and Trent Dunham was the one to get clobbered. Now the only thing I'll say for Trent Dunham is, luckily with his good runs at both Chicagoland and Taylor Swift Superdome, he came into this race a total of 43 points ahead of that cut line. So I don't think Trent Dunham, especially with the fact that we've got some drivers already out of the race, I think Trent is probably not going to finish this race, but I think he'll still advance into the next round. So he was one of the few drivers that came into this race points-wise in a very good situation of making the next round regardless. But still a hard lick for Trent Dunham, and such a promising run comes to a bitter end for not only him but also for L Alvarise. So we are under caution for the 3rd time here today. We are not quite yet to 10 laps to go. And I don't think we'll see anybody come to pit road as far as these leaders are concerned. Actually, I'm wrong. No, everybody's going to come to pit road again. And somebody back there, I think that's Joshua Michaels, has a big crunch on the hood of his Honda Accord. That's both Joshua Michaels and Jordan Lopez. That might have been from a stack up under caution. Also some damage on the 88 of Chris Dodd. J Richardson also with a lot of damage on his machine. Same for Joshua Ciculli. I think they all kind of ran into each other. And are you kidding me? Oh, wait a minute. I think actually Sidner, Baskinger, and Bryant actually had already been to pit road. They're under that green flag run. And I think they're back on the lead, still on the lead lap. I think they're going to still cycle around as the leaders. Well, how about that? Wow. Definitely a timely caution for those guys. So Sidner, Baskinger, and Bryant will be the top 3 when we go back to green. And give credit to Baskinger. I was highly questioning his strategy there, especially since he came in that 12th position in the point standings. But it looks like it's going to work out to his benefit, at least right now. They will be the top 3 when we go back green. It's like Kev Shearer won the battle off pit road. He'll restart in 4th. And 5th will be Benjamin Miles, just over Blaine Keys, Jessica Shelton, Brandon Gonzales, and Zachary Fitzwater. Let's go back, take a look and see what happened once again to L Alvarise and Trent Dunham to put us under the caution for the 3rd time here today at Indianapolis. Now we're going to look from the helicopter view on this angle just to see if maybe anybody else was involved. And here you see right here, boy, this is actually, boy, Alvarise held his line. Batson seemed to be the one to come up. And I swear, I thought that this incident was actually going to start with Jessica Shelton in the O2. Watch the O2 there, bottom right of your screen. Watch how close she comes to being involved in this. Oh, right there. My goodness, how did she not get clipped? Trent Dunham, though, completely clobbering the 33. And everybody trying to get by. Now, what I want to see here further up, yes, there was an incident further up. That is Z Flickinger getting hooked by Levi McIntyre. All right, so this is where all these other drivers got damaged. Let's go back here, go to a different camera angle and see this. So there was a follow-up wreck. I was wondering where those other drivers got their damage from, and this is where it happened, apparently. So let's go to the 93 of Flickinger. All right, so all these guys are down on the bottom of the racetrack, trying to avoid. Looks like J Bryant was slow on the inside line as he was going to be coming to pit lane, along with J Baskinger. And then Flickinger tries to go up to the high side of Bryant, but McIntyre is already there. Pole sitter Flickinger into the wall hard. Same for McIntyre. There's where Chris Dodd gets involved. C Ericson going to get a piece of it right there in the 26. And then it's just going to start stacking up, and people aren't going to be slowing down here. They don't know that something's happened here out of turn 4, apparently. And there's where Richardson gets involved. He hits Flickinger. Oh, Manuel Hartnett got a piece of that. Big time incident there as McIntyre's car goes up into the air. Matt Haas is in it. K Tellier is in it. Lopez, Michaels, J Arndt. McIntyre's car flipping and barrel rolling. I mean, we didn't even see this stuff going on. I don't know if I mentioned the 16 of McIntosh involved, but he's got hood damage. Oh, and then McIntyre's car barrel rolling comes to rest right on top of the hood of the Cheez-It Ford. Look at Cole Baker and Kyle Mathews. This is the second time Mathews has tiptoed through a wreck and picked up more spots. And I think that might be... Who's that stuck behind Emmanuel Hartnett? That's Michael Norman and Joshua Ciculli stuck there waiting for the 97 to move out of the racing lane. Here comes Tim Walsh and D Poteet as well. Oh, Ciculli, a lot of front-end damage on the Advanced Auto Parts Ford. Oh, and is Tim Walsh going to hit him? Ooh, just narrowly avoided. Yikes. But look at the smoke billowing out of Flickinger and McIntyre. Matt Haas. Oh, Matt Haas going to hit the pit wall there. Thank heavens he had that win last week at Taylor Swift Superdome. But now this really throws a big monkey wrench into everything because we got McIntosh, who just barely came in ahead of the cut line. K Tellier just barely came in ahead of the cut line. Emmanuel Hartnett just barely came in ahead of the cut line. This is really going to shake things up as far as the chase points go. We just got to see how this race finishes out. Still a ways to go. And anything can still happen within these final few laps. So here we go, getting ready to go back to green. How about that strategy for Garrett Sidner, J Baskinger, and J Bryant? They came to pit road when that caution came out. Got their pit stop done and then cycled back around as the race leaders, as the podium drivers for this restart. However, drivers out of the race. This is where it gets very interesting, folks. Look at these chasers. K Tellier finishes 28th, out of the race. J Richardson, 29th, out of the race. Dallas McIntosh, 30th, out of the race. Matt Haas, 34th, out of the race. Trent Dunham, 36th, out of the race. Emmanuel Hartnett, 37th, out of the race. And the other drivers that retired out of the race that were non-chasers included L Alvarise, Levi McIntyre, Z Flickinger, and Joshua Ciculli. So, I mean, Indianapolis, it's playing its part into an elimination race for sure. Question is, though, when the checker flag waves, how many chase hopes have they eliminated? Who are those chase drivers? As J Baskinger drives to the inside on Garrett Sidner to go to the race lead. On that restart, Baskinger restarted second. Blaine Keys in 6th. Shelton in 7th. Fitzwater in 9th. And then outside of the top 10, you had Kyle Mathews restarting 20th. Tim Walsh 21st. D Poteet 22nd. Michael Norman in 23rd, and Cole Baker in 27th. As things stand right now, we know Matt Haas is locked in. Trent Dunham, I think, is more than likely going to be locked in. Michael Norman, I think, could at this point be locked in. But it's still a question mark for everybody else, though. Baskinger would be locked in if he wins this race, and next time by it will be 10 laps to go. Boy, what a race it's been here today so far, and look at this, we got some new players starting to peek their way up towards the front of the field. Let's not forget how Indianapolis, you can't count anybody out. Brandon Gonzales is up here now. He's currently in the 8th position. How about Zachary Fitzwater there in 9th, and Charles Sandfer now up here into the top 10 in that 10th position. Rookie Chloe Ericson had a solid outing last week at Taylor Swift Superdome. She's now up here running the 12th spot. And remember we talked about how Young Motorsports loves this track? Well, Dylan Young, he's now right now in the 13th position, trying to get up here into the top 10, maybe get further up towards the front of the field as JT Bryant stepping out of line there on Kev Shearer, who's now moved up to 3rd. Bryant now going to try and take that spot. And Jessica Shelton now going to go for 5th on Benjamin Miles as they head into 1. Certainly this is a far cry from our Almond Joy Series race. The race leader I don't think has been out any further than maybe 5 car lengths on everybody else. Right now Baskinger about maybe 2 car lengths, now about a car length and a half over Garrett Sidner. Nick Johnson, let's not forget, in the Almond Joy Series race here yesterday, I mean, he had checked out on the field. He was over 4 seconds ahead of 2nd place. This has been a much more interesting race as far as battling for the lead here in the Hersheys Cup Series event. No doubt about that. Sidner got a nice run there into 3, gets right on the back bumper here into 4. We may end up seeing Sidner make a move here on the front straightaway coming to the stripe. Kev Shearer peeking out of line there. If Sidner wants to go there and make a slipstream, he could do it. But now I don't think he'll be able to. I think Kev Shearer is almost to his left rear trying to take that 2nd position away. Oh, he's there. Oh, contact there between a couple of non-chartered rides. And Kev Shearer will forcefully move his way into the 2nd position. JT Bryant going to say thank you very much. I'll take that 3rd spot now as Sidner had to bail out just a little bit there to avoid getting up into the wall after that slight bit of contact. Top 4 right now have kind of broken away from the rest of the field, but they continue to race. It won't take long for them to get reeled back in. Blaine Keys running right now in the 5th position. Let's jump back there to that battle for 6th. That's where it's all wadded up. Fitzwater, Sandfer, Shelton, Erickson, Gonzales, Batson, Young, Hudson, Miles, Scott, and Srigley all in this group. This is from 6th place on back. Right now, Fitzwater in a good spot. Fitzwater came in 15th of the 16 chase drivers, and right now solidly running up inside the top 10 in that 6th position. Sandfer has his teammate Shelton right behind him. Kyle Mathews deciding now's the time to start fighting his way back up towards the front. There he is. So all 3 of the Retro Racing Enterprises cars having pretty decent outings right now. Last time by, Mathews was scored in 18th. Came in 11th in the point stand, so Kyle Mathews in good spot to advance into the next round of the chase as well. Meanwhile, we'll go back up front. Baskinger still continues to lead. The battle's really been on for 2nd place right now. JT Bryant has it. Kev Shearer and Garrett Sidner there in 3rd and 4th. If they can stay in line here, they'll get a good draft on Baskinger here down the front straightaway. And Bryant might be able to make the move here into 1. Here he comes. Whoa, they might have made a little bit of contact there with the right front and the left rear. I don't know, as my frames all of a sudden just seemed to drop there for a moment. That was weird. Hopefully they'll settle out here just a little bit. But JT Bryant now goes to the race lead. Shearer into 2nd. Sidner into 3rd, and Baskinger now falls back into 4th. And good Lord, those frames. Oh my. Hold on a second. There we go. I don't know what was going on there. That was a weird spike on the frames there. Sorry that you missed a tiny bit of the action. Not much, though. Maybe missed about 2 corners, 3 and 4. So JT Bryant now out in front, trying to pick up his 2nd win of the season. Kev Shearer, Garrett Sidner, they want to become the 3rd non-chartered driver to go to victory lane here this year. Already it's been done by John Bunnell at Bermuda. And a couple of weeks ago at Chicagoland by Amaury Stoudemire Jr. Next time by, 5 laps to go, and this race is not over by a long shot. Blaine Keys has reeled in the top 4. JT Bryant trying to hang on. Bryant won, if I remember correctly, back at, I think it was Rockingham, North Carolina. I can quickly check and make sure. No, it wasn't. It was Arizona. Failed to make the chase. Wants to pick up his 2nd win of the season, though, which would actually tie him for most wins in his career in a single season. He had 2 wins back in season 1 of the Hersheys Cup Series at Las Vegas and at Chicagoland. Albeit that season, he won 1 race in a Dodge Dart and he won the other race in a Ford Fusion. top 5 have broken away. Then you got a pack of about 7 drivers from 6th on back through 13th. Do they have time to reel in these top 5? If these top 5 race each other, then yeah, they'll probably catch them. And there you see they're going to start racing. That's for the 3rd position. Kev Shearer to the inside of J Baskinger. Only 2 chase drivers up in this lead pack, Baskinger and Keys. If either one of them win this race, they're automatically locked into the next round of the chase for the championship, and they'd be tied with M Haas for the number 1 seed. And oh man, don't tell me, but James Qualls, a slower machine, is up ahead, and I think he's going to be caught before this race is over. By the way, I just thought back in my memory box, and I am incorrect in saying that if Garrett Sidner or Kev Shearer win this race, they'd be the 3rd go-or-go-home non-chartered ride to win a race. I actually am incorrect. They would be the 4th. I mentioned Amore Stoudemire Jr. and John Bunnell, but let's also not forget Joshua Osborne and the win that he picked up at Yas Marina Circuit. So it would actually be the 4th non-charter go-or-go-home driver to win a race here this season. Depending on where they catch James Qualls, we could end up having the field get wadded up. It's like they may be able to get him going here into turn 1 if they can get enough speed down the front straightaway. JT going to look low, but he does... What in the world is JT doing? He had like 3 lanes down there on the bottom, and he just messed himself up. Or did he? Now James Qualls blocks the inside line. Oh, and look at this. Here's Fitzwater into the group. Sandfer. Chloe Erickson's going to catch up now. Oh, man, and JT Bryant, that may have just cost him this win. Ericsson's going to catch. Everybody might catch with this, and JT Bryant still. Oh, James Qualls just blocked Charles Sandfer. Sandfer's not going to be happy about that. Sandfer trying to move James Qualls out of the way, and now this is going to separate them from about maybe the 7th position on back. Now Sandfer going to look low and try and get by. Now Chloe Erickson stuck on the high line. He's going to get held up by she's going to get held up by James Qualls, I should say. Now Sandfer gets by. Shelton, Gonzales, Hudson, Young, they're all going to get by, but Chloe Erickson and Keith Batson are wadded up there on the high side, not being able to get by. Now James Qualls almost seems to be throwing a block there on Dylan Young. Erickson now going to try and get by on the high side. Meanwhile, go back up to the front. The race leader is Kev Shearer. Kev Shearer with about 1.5 laps to go. Can Shearer pick up the victory? Sidner's in 2nd. Blaine Keys in 3rd. Fitzwater in 4th. JT Bryant now back in the 6th position behind Fitzwater, who's running 5th. If Baskinger is going to move Sidner out of the way. That may be all she wrote. The battle on for 2nd. And Kev Shearer is checking out. No traffic up ahead that Kev Shearer is going to have to deal with. White flag displayed. One more lap around. Srigley Motorsports, winless. Well, no, they're not winless this season. 1 win this season with Emmanuel Hartnett. Can they pick up their 2nd win of the season with Kev Shearer? Garrett Sidner trying to do all he can to reel Shearer back in. He's got to get a big run here down the back straightaway, and he needs Baskinger to stay in line with him. Baskinger and Keys, if they stay in line, they might be able to get something formulated here in 3 and 4, but Baskinger dives low. He's looking for points rather than the win. Can't make the move, though. Kev Shearer still by about maybe 2.5, 3 car lengths over Garrett Sidner. He'll turn for home off of 4. Kev Shearer becomes the 4th non-charter driver to pick up a victory. It's his 1st career win in the Hersheys Cup Series. Kev Shearer wins at Indianapolis. And non-chartered go-or-go-home drivers finish 1-2 here today at Indianapolis. Baskinger, Keys, Fitzwater, drivers who came in the main conversation of will they be able to get themselves into the next round. Jessica Shelton, all finishing up inside the top 7. Now we have to find out, where does this put them in the live chase standings? Does this put them into the next round of the chase or not? Second win of the season for Srigley Motorsports. Second one coming here with a non-chartered go or go home driver in Kev Shearer. How about that? Kev Shearer becomes the 5th rookie to go to victory lane this season as well, joining the likes of Osborne, Studemeyer Jr., John Bunnell, and Matt Haas. Man, where did Kev Shearer start this race? Started this race from the 40th position. Sidner started the 39th. They started in the next to last row, and they finish in first and second. How about that? So Kev Shearer with the victory. Garrett Sidner in second. Baskinger, Keys, Fitzwater in third, fourth, and fifth. Good run for both of the Fitzwater Australia racing cars. J.T. Bryant might have won this thing, but didn't exactly maneuver around the now lap machine of James Qualls. He'll finish 6th. Shelton's going to get 7th. 8th place is going to be Brandon Gonzales. 9th for Nathan Hudson. And Dylan Young finishes in the top 10. Rest of your chasers, Kyle Mathews, late charge there after running near the rear of the field and missing 2 big wrecks. He'll finish in 12th. Then you got to look further down. Michael Norman, pretty solid outing despite getting involved in a wreck earlier on and having some damage. Still managed to finish in 19th, so I believe Norman will advance into the next round of the chase. Tim Walsh, there's a big question mark there. 20th place finish for him, and he came in 13th in the point standings in the danger zone. Did he get enough positions to be able to jump up into the top 12? There are a couple of drivers he finished ahead of, like Cole Baker, Emmanuel Hartnett, K Tellier, Dallas McIntosh. We're going to have to see if Walsh, if 20th place was good enough to get him into the next round. Dylan Poteet, I think he's into the next round despite finishing damaged off the pace in 21st. Cole Baker, question mark there in 24th. Did he make it in the next round? I think he might have, but we'll have to wait and see. And then K Tellier finishing out of the race in 28th. Where does this put her? Where does this put Richardson? Finishing 29th. He came in 3rd in points. Did he drop out of the top 12? Dallas McIntosh finishes 30th out of the race. Did he drop out of the top 12 in points after coming to this race 10th in the standings? Matt Haas finishes 34th out of the race, but his win last week locks him into the next round of the chase. Trent Dunham, I think he's into the next round of the chase as well. He was points-wise in a good spot, especially since he finishes not dead last. He finished his 6 spots ahead of dead last, so I think Trent's in the next round, but still a dismal finish for him in 36th out of the race. Emmanuel Hartnett, question mark there, came in 7th in the point standings. Finishes out of the race in 37th. Where's this put him? Cody Llamas came in this race 6th in the point standings. Finishes 40th out of the race. Where will this situate him? Who will be the 4 drivers eliminated in this chase for the championship, and who are the 12 drivers moving on? I don't know, because I can't do that kind of math in my head spur of the moment. We'll find out the same time that you guys do when you take a look at your official rookie points, overall points, and chase points heading into next week. The next round of the chase begins, our first race of 3 before our elimination race at Zen Joltis. Next week we head to Armory Digital Superspeedway for both Almond Joy and Hersheys Cup Series action. Congratulations to Kev Shearer on his first career Hersheys Cup Series win here today at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. If you enjoyed this race, be sure to give this video a like. Subscribe to become part of the crew today. We've shown you your full finishing results. Up next are your points, and we'll see you next week at Armory Digital as you've been watching a production of the NNSCRA Offline Racing at its best.